Eti Sen is how are you in the Tree Akan language of the Ashanti tribe of Ghana, but also translates into Comment allez-vous in French, Ni hao ma in Mandarin, and Till your turn for those that know. Guests and collaborators are encouraged to take a step back and to check in with self. By checking in with self, you begin to explore how you're truly feeling, be it mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and of course, physically. Salutations, peace and love, manners and respect to all you beautiful beings out there. Welcome to the latest episode in a podcast called Eti Sen. At a podcast called Eti Sen is always the first question we ask. So before I proceed, let me ask you, the listening audience, Eti Sen. Today, we have a very special guest. I know I say this all the time, innit? But because I have so many special people in my life, and this particular guest is like a big brother to me. Like when I came in here, young boy in the UK, trying to find the ropes, trying to learn the roads, this guy was there for me, you get me? So, without further ado, let me introduce Lami, everyone. Lami! Okay, so I'm going to pass it off to Lami. I think he's going to give us a bit of an introduction. He's going to tell us about himself. So, Lami, let me ask you.
Thank you.
Eti Sen.
Yeah.
Hey, you already know.
I just hit you with one out of the two phrases I know.
Yeah.
It's either that or Debbie.
Debbie. You already know, fam. Debbie. That's a good one to actually know, fam. That can always come in handy. Because that is your get out of jail card. Whenever someone puts you in an uncomfortable position, when you drop that Debbie, they have to kick back. So yeah, as Lamian said he's fine. A yeah in the Chiakan language means all is well. So he seems to have a few people that are of Ghanaian heritage, myself included. I asked him to be a guest on the episode, on the podcast, and because of lockdown, we've not been able to do this face to face. So we're using technology, so I'm trying to step it up, not making any excuses. So we're using Zoom. So if there's a bit of a lag in the questions I'm asking and it seems to be a bit of a few seconds before he responds, that's because it's taking time for me or for my voice to get to him. So yeah, bear with us. So you already know the format. He's doing well, all is well. I'm just going to let him tell us a bit about himself and then, what he's all about, what he's doing at the moment and how he's coping during this current UK-wide lockdown. So Lami, how are you coping, man? How are you managing in this lockdown?
I'm doing well, to be honest. I have no complaints. I think with me, I'm about routines. So once I can get into a routine of something, I'm cool. So
okay.
I think the first few weeks of lockdown, I was excited.
Okay.
Just for the simple fact that I was working from home, because before that was kind of in my company it was a bit of a luxury.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the day that they even said, I think so. Basically, my company was testing the working from home facilities.
Yeah.
Before lockdown started.
Okay.
So they said to me, I should work from home, but for the rest of the week. This was a Tuesday. It felt like half of my team.
Yeah.
I was trying my best to contain my smile. My manager was like, what were you planning about? I said, no, nothing. And it's okay. From that day, bro, I've been at home since.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Exactly.
Yeah, man, I can't complain at all. I'm enjoying it. But I feel like it's just the type of person I am that I'm just one of those people I just get on with things. So it's not been an issue for me at all.
Oh, okay. So that's good to hear, because you're one of the few people I've spoken to that have actually seen the silver lining in all of this. Sometimes we choose and tend to focus on the negative, but you seem to know yourself. You know what makes you tick. You know what works for you, and you've embraced it. But yeah, with the working from home, like if you work from home once a week in a normal working week, you're like, yeah. So now that we're working pretty much 5 days a week from home, everyone is waiting to get back to the office now. Everyone's like, yo, I want to be back in the office. Like, yeah, routines, innit? It's all about routines. So let me mention a very good thing about routines. Knowing what works for you and applying it to yourself. Sometimes it's easy to see what other people are doing and trying to imitate or repeat or replicate. But you have to know yourself. And that's very, very good that Lami mentioned that he knows what works for him. And as soon as he got into his routine, pretty much everything started falling in place. So, have you had any close calls within lockdown? Have you been frequently tested? Had no issues with COVID? All family, friends, pretty much safe, well and healthy?
So I didn't get tested, but I think I had it.
Okay.
Christmas Day.
Oh wow. Based on how you're feeling and the symptoms, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, based on how I was feeling. So I'm one of those people, I hardly get sick, but when I get sick, it's bad. So I had like a little cough on like Christmas Eve, but it was like when I would laugh.
Okay, yeah.
It's strange. I don't usually get coughs. What's this? Then Christmas Day come, obviously, you know, Nigerians, like my whole family, we're all together, just breaking rules left, right, and center. Yeah, so we all linked up now.
Yeah.
Just enjoying.
Of course, man. That's how it's supposed to be.
We're loving it now, yeah. And then my lower back is hurting, like say I'd been doing exercise. I was like, come on, what is this? So I'm stretching out my back, and my dad's saying, look, all the weights that you're doing, this they're lockdown. I haven't even been to the gym, so this can't be weight.
Yeah.
So the next day now, the cough's like going, but like my eyeballs are hurting.
Oh.
So my friend was like, yeah, he had the exact same symptoms. You got COVID, bro. You got COVID. Go get tested. I was like, bro, you're giving me all the advice I need. Let me just self-isolate now.
Exactly.
So self-isolate for the 2 weeks. And, bro, and it's not like I was doing anything extra anyway. So yeah, that was it. Yeah, and I think I wasn't in a bad way in any fact. I think just the 2 days.
Okay, so not too bad.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I think the second day I was just drinking ginger, lemon, and
honey.
And honey.
Yeah. So you didn't have any loss of appetite?
You must be bluffing. What's that? Loss of appetite.
What is that? Alright, that's good. At least you were still able to eat well during the festive period, because I know during Christmas there must have been a nice selection of, British food and real food. Alright. Yeah. So alright, that's good. Seems as if probably got corona and then isolated, but because you didn't get a test, it's speculation. But based on the symptoms you mentioned, because apparently one of the major ones is loss of taste or loss of appetite or loss of smell or something like that. But for me personally, I don't think I've had anything. I've been just like you, I rarely get sick. So it's one of those ones where I've not noticed anything. I've had some body pains, but I just think because I've been banging out weights or been going in on yoga and all those other things. So I always think it's muscular, but nothing to do with the virus. So thank you very much for sharing. We're going to take a quick break. Soundbites cue right in here. And then we're going to move to the next segment. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. We're moving on to the next segment. We're going to be discussing holistic health and well-being. So we're going to be looking at the 4 pillars of well-being: mental, spiritual, physical, and emotional. We're going to start with the physical side because I've known Lami for a while now. I remember during our 6th form days. That's when Lami got me into gymming, man. Like, I got all the stretch marks to show. All my arms. I stretched my body out, man. Banged out the weights. But yeah. So I wanted to talk about physical health. And a lot of people have not been able to maintain their routine because gyms have been closed. And also, it's difficult to work out or to do physical activities when you're at home. And that gym was, well, for me, the gym served the purpose of taking you away from an environment that has so many comforts. But when you're in the gym, you can get into a zone. And I've seen a lot of friends who have been struggling to have the ginger themselves, because when you're in the gym, you see other people, you can motivate each other, and you can push yourself and actually push yourself beyond your limits. So how are you managing in terms of your physical health? Have you reduced your workouts? Have you tried to find different workouts? Have you embraced YouTube or Peloton or all of these new waves coming through?
It's funny because I wish you asked me this question in the first lockdown. Yeah.
Okay.
First lockdown, bro, I was in a sick routine, so
okay.
I was waking up 6 a.m. Going for a run. Like, we had a competition. Me and my guys had a competition on the nightcap.
Okay.
Oh, you know that competition for me is motivation.
Mm-hmm.
My friends, every morning 6 a.m. without fail, I wake up and go on the run.
Okay.
My body was in peak condition. Bro.
Jeez.
Those times they were calling me 6 packs. Yeah, man. So yeah, I was in very good condition. Then it's like funny that I think I saw my friend maybe in November, and it's like, since Boris let us out here in July or June, whatever it is, I can see that was your last ever run. You haven't ran since. Of course I've ran. He said, open your app. So I opened the app here, and it was just like, whenever they let us out, 30th of June or whatever, that was like my last run. I haven't ran since.
Wow.
It's crazy. So I haven't done any gym. I haven't done anything.
Oh, wow. So but you still do your normal push-ups, press-ups?
Nothing. I don't do anything at all.
Or no dumbbells at yard to be lifting?
No, so my issue is that I've bought dumbbells and weights maybe like 3 or 4 times in my life. I've bought bench press, but the motivation just never there.
Yeah.
So like even like, I think at the start of last year, my dad even phoned me. I was like, these your bench press and weights that I'm gonna sell it. And I was like, yeah, go on then. Because that's what happens. You buy it, you use it for the first 2 weeks, and afterwards it just...
That's gone, That's true.
Starts collecting dust. So I think the issue for me personally is that when I'm at home, I'm not motivated to do things, to do gym. So, but when I get to the gym, I hate the gym. Also crazy, I hate gym. But I'm motivated by what it does to my body.
Yeah. You can see the results,
You see the results, but with the home workouts, I'm not getting the same thing. It's not gingering me the same as if I was to go to the gym. So I haven't been doing the damn thing. But lucky for me, my body doesn't get too out of shape anyway. I just don't look as filled up as usual.
Yeah, because your base is you're fit naturally anyway. We're just trying to get to our peak optimum condition, innit? So that's what. So I get what you mean. So the foundation is set already, it is. Well, okay. Nah, for me it's been decent. I've been fortunate. I have a few friends in the personal training industry, and there's one of them that started a 7 a.m. workout similar to yours. I don't know if you remember Insanity, which came out. Yeah, so we've got a few videos. So we do a workout Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday, Friday. About half an hour, 45 minutes, 7 a.m. in the morning. Been doing that since late October, early November. And I go for my run Saturday or Sunday, or if I'm feeling good, both days. So I've been staying on top of it. Yeah, man. I've not run for the past 2 weeks though. So when I had the Beast from the East 2, I'm like, I'm not running. So I've not run for the past 2 weeks, but yeah, I try to do at least a 3K run once a week, at least once a week. Ideally 3 times a week, but we're not living in a world of ideals right now, so we're just making do with what we can. So you seem to be on top of your physical health anyway. It's not where we want it to be, but based on the current situation, you're making the most of it.
Yeah, once the weather's better, I'll be back and running again. With this cold, it doesn't agree with my body, man. When I wake up at 6 and I look outside, I still have the alarm for 6 till this day. But I look outside, and more time it's raining, it just looks dark outside.
Nah. I'm gonna turn to the other side. No, it gets like that sometimes, man. That's why when you wake up and you actually do it that day, you're like, yeah, you feel good for doing it. So I want us to move over. We talked a bit about the physical health. And I just wanted to add, I think because we don't also have like normally within the year, you already have dates booked for going out on vacation, going out on holiday, or going out over trips with a man them or with family or with friends. So normally those sets targets in place. You're trying to get to this place in July. You know, you're going to have to put in a bit of work for 3 months or so that I can be unbuttoning the shirt, you know, so that you can be. So with all of that going, I'm not just going to be walking around my house looking good, man. I need to show people. So, so right now, I think once after the 22nd, when Boris reduces things down, we'll be like, yeah, now we can start putting a bit more work. So I want us to move over and talk about spiritual health. Being born in an African family with African culture and African traditions and beliefs, naturally you're brought up in a Christian environment. Some are also brought up in a Muslim environment, but religion and a relationship with God is something that pretty much, and with most churches closed, some of them have moved online, some of them are using Zoom, Microsoft Eats, Google Hangouts. How is your spiritual health? Are you someone that still participates in church going, or are you new school like myself, who basically do my own thing? I still read the Word of God, I still believe in God, but the actual physical going to church every Sunday, I've not done that since since I was 21. I'll just put it like. So how is it for you? Like, are you a church goer? Yeah.
So pre-pandemic, let's say I would go maybe once or twice a month.
Okay,
So
that's not bad actually. Yeah.
I was actually attending. Yeah, so my friend would come pick me up, like, right, we're going, so we'll just go. That was good. But then as we got into lockdown and so on, and like it's like online. What's so crazy is that I don't miss the online service now.
Okay.
But
because it's more convenient, yeah.
At the same time, I'm not missing it. I'm not gaining. I don't feel like I'm gaining much nowadays.
It's a bit passive. Yeah.
Like it's just kind of going in one ear and out the other. And I'm not
I hear you.
taking
Yeah.
it. So yeah, so I would say that through this pandemic, my spiritual journey hasn't been great. I've been trying to like read passages and things like that, but it's still not the same. It's still definitely not the same. So I would say that part of my life during this year is what's like been on the down.
Okay.
And it's just like I'm noticing stuff myself that, you know, like I remember like being young and I'll be able to like say this happened in this passage. And I think it might even be just because everything's on the phone now. But I remember like I was sick. I knew where every chapter was. Now, bro, my Bible's got dust on it. I can't even lie to you. But obviously, we're using our phones now.
Nowadays, yeah.
It's just not the same. And I can't really put my finger on it as well, because what happens a lot of the time is I watch the service in the morning.
Yeah.
And I put my phone far away from me. Like, hey, Lami, you're not going to touch your phone with this whole Zoom or whatever it is. You're not going to touch your phone. But somehow that phone finds itself in my hand. I don't know if that's the devil but somehow that phone gets in my hand. So,
I hear you, fam. I hear what you're saying, bro. Like, it's the same with me as well. Like, you put the phone down, you're like, every minute you're back on it, you're thinking, how do I still have this phone in my hand? But now, the spiritual thing is funny because a lot of people equate spirituality and religion as the same. And for sometimes I try to explain that, yes, they can be interchangeable. But sometimes when you have a situation like this whereby we've been forced not to go into church, I think it puts the responsibility on you, the individual, to actually take a step back and look at how you relate with God and how you relate with your church and how you relate with other human beings, and whether you are actually being Christ-like, whether you're actually practicing Christianity as is shown in the New Testament. And also making it clear that just because you're not going to church, as a lot of us have not gone to church, that's not stopped a lot of people from being Christians, which was something that when I used to go to church was mentioned, if you're not coming to church, then you're losing some element of Christianity. So right now, I wonder what the message will be like. But yeah, it's a funny one. I think the church has affected a lot of people, because in my circle, most people I know are churchgoers. I'm normally the odd one out. They've been trying to get me to come to church for a while now. But so I've just been observing how they're responding, and a lot of them now have taken on going to service online, and they have the same feedback as well. It's a bit passive. It's not the same as being there and feeling the spirit and, you know, being under the spirit. So hopefully things pick up and people are able to congregate and share the word of God, and also just to have that human contact, that human element, because that makes a huge difference as well. So now that we talked about the physical, we talked about the spiritual, how we feeling mentally? Like, based on how you've responded on the physical and the spiritual, I already have a good feeling that mental health is in a very good place right now. But I'd like you to respond. How are you feeling mentally?
So, yeah, I'll say my mental health is in a very good place.
Okay, that's good to hear.
In terms of mental, I feel like I'm pretty tough. Not even because I've been through a lot, but I just feel like I've seen a lot of things.
I concur.
And that's like... That's basically toughened me up, especially like when you go, because I remember I always used to wonder that, bro, how come we don't hear about like mental health in Africa and stuff like that, but people have nothing, but it's just that they're mental, they're tough, and I feel like
I've got that fortitude, fam, toughness. Yeah.
I feel like I've got the same thing going on, really. So yeah, man, my mental's good. Yeah, I have no complaints about that at all, man.
Yeah. Okay. So you're content with where you are right now. You have little moments where sometimes you're a bit anxious, which is part of being a human being. You have your moments where you can be feeling very good, but all in all, you're happy. Like, you understand yourself, and there's no issues on that front. So thank you very much for sharing. Mental health, as you mentioned, is something that is gaining a bit of traction, and awareness is increasing back in the motherland in Africa. But in the UK for the past 2 to 3 years, it's also been picked up a lot, and it's like pretty much like the new bandwagon that every organization, every industry is jumping on. Hence the reason why I ended up becoming a mental health first aider, and also jumping on the bandwagon and identifying the gap in the market and realizing that yes, let's just start having conversations about how we're feeling, and that's all that you need to start with. Just talk, and you need an outlet sometimes. It doesn't mean that you're in a bad place, but sometimes you just need to offload. Yes, you know, a lot of things might be on the chest or on the shoulders. Just let it go, innit? So sometimes you just need someone to listen. So thank you very much for sharing that as well. And the last pillar that I like to discuss is emotional health. Because sometimes when you're in a stressful situation, when all the other pillars, which the spiritual, the physical, and the mental, are not in balance, when they're misaligned, sometimes it comes out emotionally, and you may be prone to being very low, being very aggressive, being angry, being, you know, in isolation or being alone. How are you feeling emotionally? Have you noticed any changes in your emotions? Are you now a bit more laid back?
Yeah, so growing up, I think I used to have a temper growing up. Okay. But in the past, 8-10 years, I would say that's kind of gone. And I feel like the reason I had that temper was because I wasn't good at arguing. I would always quickly just
escalate it. What are we talking for, man? Let's get to the end.
So I think that's kind of how I was growing up. In recent time, in terms of emotions, I'm not really connected. I wouldn't say I'm really connected with my emotions, but I would say I have been under stress for the past 3 weeks. But I feel like I know the reason for that. So I started a new job 3 weeks ago. Yeah. And in this new job, the way they work is completely different from how I was working. So in my previous job, I wake up maybe about 9:30. Put on my laptop, I'll go downstairs, I'll just have my Skype on, I'll go downstairs, I'll go and make myself breakfast. Yeah. That's my brother, I'll come back upstairs and I'll say, alright, cool, let me begin my day. This is at 10:30, so the atmosphere was very, very chilled. It worked well with me because I'm a laid back person now, so it was good. But now in this new role, bro, I'm assigned at 8:30. Already someone's messaging me, alright, can you get this to us by 9? I'm like,
I've already made my breakfast.
I don't want no time for breakfast, no bagel. That was going on. So it's like completely different now, isn't it? So, and then, you know, when you're the new person, you're trying your best to like,
Yep.
show that, alright, cool, I deserve to be here, kind of thing, isn't it? So yeah, that's what I've been going through. But I know that it's only temporary. Once I proper know what I'm doing, then I'll be able to like manage myself well. But right now, I'm stressing myself, trying to keep up and show that, alright, I'm meant to be in this place. So
Okay.
yeah, that's what I would say my emotional side is at the moment. A bit stressed, but
there's some maturity there. Yeah, there's definitely some emotional maturity. Yeah, and you seem to be aware of it, because most of us are like oblivious to how we're reacting. But you seem to be like, okay, the way I'm reacting to these things is because of a change in job, a new environment, a new person, and a new job. So you're on top of it. Like, that's what I'm trying to encourage people. Like, allow yourself to feel and go through whatever you're going through, but just be aware. Just understand why you're reacting the way you are. And if you want to change it, you can start. If you don't want to, just let it be. It's not about trying to change. It's just about being aware of your behaviors, why you act the way you act, and if there's anything you can do to be better or to just be more aware. So yeah, it's good you mentioned that, actually, because emotionally, like me too, quick temper. Like, it's still something I'm having to work on. Self-help, a lot of having to do some like learn and gain a bit more knowledge. And everything I do, I start with myself first before I start telling people how to approach certain things. I try to implement it in my life as well. So emotional health has been something that has been a struggle for me over the past couple of years. I think for the past 5 years for me, a lot of things have happened. I'm like, you know what, there's nothing I can do. I just have to accept it and then just go with the flow. So it's been
very, very important, and especially like how you deal with things as well. So I feel like each person should know how they deal with like their emotional issues.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Sleeping is what you do. That after something stresses you emotionally or something like that, you sleep, and then when you pick up your food or you eat, you go and talk to a particular person. Everyone should just know how to like deal with themselves when they're in a phase or stress phase.
Okay, so as Lami said, you need to identify your release valve. You need to have an outlet. If it's food, if it's sleep, if it's a friend that you can go and talk to, family, whatever it is, just make sure whenever you're getting to that top, you need something to help you just release and unwind. So you need to find out for yourself what this may be for you. Okay, so we're almost at the end of this very, very interesting episode, and I'm just so happy that I actually have Lami here with me, and we're having this conversation, man. Sometimes you've known someone for so long that you realize that you don't really talk a lot, but whenever you need to get things done, it gets done. And I'm just privileged to have him as someone I can count on when I really need him. So Lami, thank you once again for joining us. But before I let you go, is just anything you like to share, any advice, any experience, any story, parable that you like to share for those listening, that you have taken from your experiences in life, that you started to implement on yourself, that has seen results, that has given you an opportunity to continue to become the best version of yourself?
I would say so. This is probably like lockdown advice. I can imagine many people are doing this already. So what I've said to myself from last year is that let me just try and do all these things that I was pushing back or said I didn't have time for this year. That's like my plan. So for me, a big thing was reading. So I remember I always say, I used to be reading to every start of the year.
Okay.
One of my resolutions. It's been like that for the past 10 years. Let me read. Bro. So like last year, like randomly I said, I ordered books, and I said, okay, I gotta read these books by X day. And that's like what I've done. So these things I said I didn't have time for, but right now what we've got on our hands is time. I've never had so much time in my life that Saturday and Sunday comes, I know I'm not doing a damn thing. So I've been like trying to read more.
Okay.
And I've also been trying to like just learn new skills. And so that I've been just things like trading.
That's right up your field, isn't it? Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
I've jumped into investing. So just so many things that I haven't really had time for, or time to sit down and research.
Yeah.
But I've got into that. So yeah, because I've kind of like, for a long time, I've kind of seen myself as a jack of all trades type of person. So I said, alright, let me turn this jack of all trades to be at least a master in one, or nearly a master in one. So that's like my plan. That okay, let me not leave this like pandemic the same way I started it. Like, let me have something tangible. Say that okay, for my member, you know, because we're gonna be talking about this in 20 years time. Yeah,
Definitely.
And that's the year that I started doing this, and how good I am at this now. Well, look what this thing has done for me. So that's my little advice.
That's it.
Leave this pandemic in a different way.
Okay. So thank you very much for sharing. Just to paraphrase, Lami was explaining that during the pandemic, he's been able to pick up a few new skills, and the things that has been putting on hold for so many years now has been able to finally keep them moving and finally act on it. So same for you throughout this lockdown. I know it has been challenging. I know it's been full of ups and downs. It's not going to be the same for everyone. Not everyone can reinvent themselves or find new skills and learn new talents. But the thing is, you have to try and make the most of it. And like when we come out of lockdown, have something to show for it. If it's a six-pack, cool. If it's a beer belly, cool. But have something to show for it. But yes.
And on top of that, those people that have been saying, oh, I haven't got time to study for this exam, like if there's professional qualifications or whatever it is, I'm speaking to you. Do that now. You've got time. I don't know who needs to hear that, but do it. Do that exam. You've got time for revision right now.
Exactly. You have all the time. No excuses. No cinema is open. No restaurant is open. You ain't going nowhere. But yes, thank you very much. This has been another episode of a podcast called Eti Sen, where Eti Sen is always the first question we ask. We've had a very special guest, Lami, who has shared some of his experiences during this lockdown and has expressed how he's feeling physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually throughout the past couple of years, and also shared some of his life experiences with us. So this episode has been brought to you by yours truly, Ni Okaintego, and special guest, Lami. We'll be back again with another installment. Thank you very much for listening. Any last words, Lami?
Eti Sen.